You know when someone says, "I just want a car that lasts forever"? Yeah, obviously nothing literally lasts forever. But some cars get so close it almost feels unfair on the rest of the market. Today we're counting down on the cars that are as close as you can realistically get to buy it once and forget about it. These are the models that just don't die, that owners keep for years, and that don't drain your wallet with surprise repairs. Before we get into the cars, here's how we rank them. First, we looked at hard reliability data from around the world. Owner surveys and dependability studies from Consumer Reports JD, Power, Warrantywise in the UK, and a few long-term reliability indexes that track real repairs over time. Those tell us how often things go wrong and how serious those faults are. Second, we looked at cost to keep on the road, average repair bills, how frequently they need to visit the mechanic, and the typical costs and availability of parts. If a car almost never breaks but the one failure costs the same as a small flat, that matters. Third, we checked long-term ownership stories, taxis, high-mileage examples, fleet cars, and real owner reports where people are proudly posting odometer photos at 200,000, 300,000 miles, and beyond. Fourth, we factored in you, our audience from our comments and owner forums. Which ones never gave you trouble, and which ones you'll never sell until it dies, and it refuses to die. We bake that feedback into a viewer verdict score, so this goes beyond spreadsheet data. It's what real owners say too. We then normalized everything by segment and age, threw out very new models without a proper track record, and what we're left with is a list of cars that are boringly excellent at just working. Quick pit stop if you like no nonsense, data-backed car picks, hit like and subscribe. It tells the YouTube robot this is worth showing to more drivers. Right back to the cars? Let's start at the bottom of our list and work our way up to the car that, according to the numbers and your feedback, is the closest thing to indestructible. First up, a bit of a surprise entry in number 7 is the Hyundai Tucson. Now, this one surprised a lot of people, including us. Historically, if you asked, what lasts forever, Hyundai wasn't the first name out of anyone's mouth. But the current and recent gen Tucsons have quietly turned into some of the most dependable family SUVs on sale. On our scorecard, the Tucson doesn't quite match the Japanese heavy hitters on lifetime track record, but it punches way above its weight. Reliability data from multiple markets now shows it with solidly above average scores, and owners report relatively few serious faults as the years go on. Where it did especially well is in terms of running costs. Routine servicing is affordable, parts are widely available, and when things do go wrong, the bills tend to be pretty reasonable. Add Hyundai's strong factory warranties in many countries, and it's a really smart buy if you want a modern SUV without long-term drama. Owners keep reporting the same story. Buy it, service it, drive it, and nothing interesting happens. In a good way. Engines are unstressed, gearboxes are well proven, and they don't seem to have that one catastrophic failure that ruins the ownership experience. It's not quite at the legend level of some of the others on this list, but if you want a modern, well-equipped SUV that doesn't turn into a project car at 80,000 miles, the Tucson deserves to be on your radar. Now, if we're talking about cars that refuse to die, we can't dodge this one, the Honda CR-V. The CR-V is that friend who never texts first, never makes a fuss, but always turns up on time and helps you move house. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it just quietly does everything right. On hard reliability data, the CR-V is a beast. Several long-term studies put it among the most dependable compact SUVs year after year. Owners absolutely hammer these things with family duties, commuting, road trips, occasional abuse, and the CR-V just gets on with it. It's very common to see them still doing daily duty with more than 200,000 miles on the clock on original major components. Engines and gearboxes are proven over multiple generations, and the failure patterns you do see tend to be small, annoying things rather than wallet destroyers. This is a classic Honda, efficient, smooth, and happy to rev a bit, but not highly stressed. Gearboxes, particularly in the non-turbo, non-CVT older models, are notoriously tough. On the ownership cost side, it scored high again. Parts are common, independent garages know them inside out, and catastrophic failures are rare. It's the kind of car that, if you just follow the service schedule, will reward you by doing absolutely nothing interesting for 15 years. Which is exactly what you want here. The best compliment I can give the CR-V is this. If someone tells me they bought one, my brain immediately goes, cool, you're sorted for the next decade. In our comments, the CR-V comes up constantly like 200,000 miles, original engine and transmission, only ever changed normal wear items, I'm bored of it but can't justify selling it because it never breaks. That's peak car that lasts forever energy. Enjoying this? Tap like so, we know to make more reliability videos, and subscribe for the next deep dive. Also, drop your highest mile odometer story in the comments. Next, we step up into posh but still bulletproof territory with the Lexus NX. Normally, when you hear luxury SUV, you think, great, until the warranty runs out. But the NX is the awkward exception that messes up that stereotype. Lexus regularly sits at or near the very top of global brand reliability rankings. It's basically Toyota reliability in a nicer outfit. And the NX is one of the poster children for that. Underneath the leather and screens, the hybrid powertrains are based on Toyota's tried and tested hybrid setup. The same basic recipe that's been painfully reliable in the Prius and other Toyotas for years. That means the scary stuff, batteries, motors, inverters, has already proven itself in fleets and taxis all over the world. The result? You get the quietness, comfort, and badge appeal without the typical luxury brand game of, here's a 4-figure bill for something trivial. A lot of owners say it's the first premium car they've owned where they're not constantly braced for the next big bill after the warranty ends. On our scoring sheet, the NX absolutely smashed the owner satisfaction and fault rate sections. Real-world surveys give it extremely high reliability scores, particularly for the hybrid models, and repair rates outside of scheduled maintenance are low. If you want something comfy that still has a very good chance of boring you, senseless, with how little it goes wrong, the NX is that. It doesn't quite hit the same will survive the apocalypse vibe as some of the simpler cars higher up our list, but as a daily that combines comfort and just works reliability, the NX is ridiculously strong. Next car, and this is where we get into proper long-term legends, the Toyota Camry. If you had $1 for every time someone said, just buy a Camry, when asked what car to get, you could probably buy a nice Camry. And honestly, the data backs that up. The Camry appears over and over again in lists of the most reliable cars and the used car rankings for best long-term bet. Consumer data puts Toyota right at the top for dependability, and the Camry is one of the models carrying that reputation on its shoulders. There's a reason it's the default answer. Fleet managers love them, taxis love them, people who don't even like cars love them, because they just work. On our reliability statistics pillar, the Camry is almost boring. Very few serious issues across multiple generations, a huge history of high-mileage examples, and strong scores in owner surveys. Everyone except mechanics love these things, because they just don't die if you give them basic care. Engines are tuned for longevity, not drama. Gearboxes are usually simple and strong rather than cutting edge. The suspension and steering are built to survive craters, speed bumps, and your cousin borrowing it for a weekend every Christmas. On long-term stories, the Camry absolutely lights up the board. It's common, genuinely common, to see Camrys with 300,000 miles still running sweetly, still on original major components, with just routine maintenance. It also has very strong resale values, which is a market signal that people trust it to last. Plenty go past that. When you talk to taxi drivers, you'll often hear mileage figures that would make most cars cry. Is it exciting? No. Is it incredibly good at being a car for a very long time? Absolutely. Staying with Toyota, but going a bit geeky now, the Prius. If the Camry is the straight-A student, the Prius is the quiet kid in the corner who secretly graduated 2 years early. Hybrids used to scare people. Batteries, inverters, will it be a nightmare long-term? Now we've got full decades of real-world data, and Toyota hybrids, especially the Prius, have turned out to be some of the toughest cars ever built. 2 things make it special. First, the hybrid system massively reduces stress on the engine and gearbox. There's no traditional automatic with lots of clutches to burn out. The engine isn't constantly slogging away at high revs. It's all very relaxed. Second, Toyota over-engineered the early hybrids because they were terrified of high-profile failures. And that shows. There are Priuses in taxi fleets with eye-watering mileage still on original batteries and drivetrains popping up in owner forums with photos of ridiculous odometers. If you can live with the eco-nerd image and you don't care about being fast, the Prius is one of the cheapest ways to cover a huge distance with almost no drama. It's like a washing machine on wheels. Press start, it does its thing, and if you maintain it, it'll be around long after you're bored of looking at it. On our technical design and fault pattern scores, the Prius is a monster. The hybrid system has matured over multiple generations. The engines are under-stressed, and the number of hybrid system failures relative to the millions of units on the road is tiny. There are Prius taxis with 300,000, 400,000 miles ticking along on original hybrid batteries. A lot of used car data also shows Prius models with very low rates of big, wallet-destroying repairs. Extended warranty companies hate them because they don't claim enough. That pushed its cost of ownership score way up on our sheet. Yes, it's boring to drive. Yes, it looks like an eco jelly bean. But if you want a car that just keeps going and going while barely sipping fuel, the Prius is an absolute beast. Next on the list, and now we're getting into the top two, is the Toyota RAV4. The RAV4 is basically the CR-V's main rival and, globally, one of the most popular cars on sale. It's kind of like the global default SUV now. It's everywhere and does everything. School run, road trip, light off-roading, mild overlanding, supermarket car park. And the key thing is, it does all of that for years and years. The mechanical bits are very dependable, especially in the non-turbo, non-experimental versions. The hybrid models share that same Toyota hybrid robustness we just talked about. A big pool of cars on the road means we've got loads of real-world data now, and the pattern is very clear. These things don't go wrong very often. On the hard data side, the RAV4 is consistently one of the highest-rated SUVs for reliability and predicted long-term dependability. Several 2025 lists put it in the top tier, with strong scores for both the petrol and hybrid versions. It also holds its value really well, which is basically the market voting with its wallet and saying, yeah, we trust this car long-term. With millions of them sold worldwide, we've now got a huge sample size, and the pattern is clear. Engines and gearboxes are sturdy, hybrid systems are shared with other bulletproof Toyota models, and the common faults are usually minor. On ownership cost, it does super well too. It's not the cheapest to buy up front, but it's cheap to own in the long run. High resale values tell you the market expects them to last, and extended warranty claim data shows relatively modest repair costs over time. If you told me you wanted one SUV to do daily life and occasional long trips for the next 15 years, and you weren't chasing anything spicy, I'd be very happy to see you turn up in a RAV4. So the RAV4 is an absolute reliability tank. But there is one car that just edges it out once we take everything into account, especially when we zoom in on long-term data and brand trends. Our number one, this thing just won't die car is the Subaru Forester. The Forester has quietly built this reputation as the car you buy once and then forget about. People in horrible climates love them. Snow, ice, dirt roads, forests, that's its home turf. Subaru as a brand has recently jumped to the very top of some major reliability rankings, overtaking even Toyota and Lexus in both Car Edge's and Consumer Reports' 2025 scores. And the Forester benefits from that. The flat-4 engines, when serviced properly, just keep chugging. The all-wheel drive system is mechanical, clever, and proven. And because Subaru tends not to chase silly horsepower figures, the whole drivetrain lives an easier life. On our hard reliability metric, the Forester scored incredibly high. Owner surveys show very few serious mechanical issues. Long-term predicted reliability is above average across multiple model years, and its all-wheel drive system, which you'd think might be a failure point, has turned out to be very solid when maintained properly. You see so many high-mileage Foresters still in regular use, especially in places where winter really means winter. They're the car that just carries on doing school runs, commutes, ski trips, dog hauling, year after year. On cost to own, it did better than we expected. Yes, it has a couple more components than a basic front-wheel drive car, but failures are rare, parts are widely available, and many independent garages know Subarus well. It also holds its value impressively, which is the market's way of saying, yeah, we trust this thing. On the owner story side, Forester fans are evangelical. We found loads of examples of 10-year-old cars still on their original engines, doing daily duty in horrible weather, and barely complaining. And in our polls, Forester owners were some of the most likely to say, I'd happily buy the same car again. So while the Toyotas are still the obvious kings on paper, the Forester absolutely deserves to sit at the same grown-ups table. It's not the fanciest or the most exciting, but if you want something that you can buy, maintain properly, and then basically forget about for a decade or two, the Forester is ridiculously hard to beat. So that's our run-through of the cars that, according to the data and according to you, are built to last almost forever. If this saved you hours of research, a like goes a long way. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Now, final thoughts. Right, let's zoom out for a second. The truth is, none of these cars are magic. Any of them can be killed by neglect, dodgy servicing, or daily abuse. And a less reliable model, properly looked after, can still outlast a super reliable one that's been destroyed by a bad owner. But if you want to stack the deck in your favor, cars like the CR-V, RAV4, Camry, Prius, Forester, Tucson, and Lexus NX are as close to a cheat code as you're going to get. First, maintenance still matters. Even the most reliable car will complain if you never change the oil and you treat every cold start like a drag race. Look after it, and it'll look after you. Second, how you drive matters too. Smash potholes, tow more than you should, ignore warning lights. Suddenly your ultra-reliable car doesn't look so ultra-reliable. Do these, and odds are you'll be the one in 10 years' time posting a photo of your odometer and commenting, "Still going strong," on videos like this. This list isn't closed. If your car has gone 300,000 miles without a major problem and we didn't mention it, tell us in the comments. In the videos you sent us and the DMs we've read, your experience has absolutely moved some models up and down the order here. So if enough of you shout about another hidden gem, we'll dig into the data and it might show up in the next update. If you're in the market for something you can buy now and still be happily driving when the next generation of EVs is old news, any of these will give you a fantastic starting point. And honestly, in a world where everything seems designed to be disposable, owning a car that basically refuses to die feels pretty good. And that's it for today. Thanks for riding along. Catch you in the next video, and have a look at our latest uploads.